4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fan View, and I'm back again. Thank you for those that came to watch the other previous video where we're talking about Arsenal versus Liverpool combined 11. And today we're going to talk about let's talk about matches in Premier League this season. And sorry, I said this season, this weekend, and talk about the UEFA Champions League. So, first of all, before we move into the Premier League, yesterday, let's start from Tuesday. Champions League, Barca versus, let's start with the most disappointing one, the underdog that won. What was that? Inter versus Barcelona. So they're not really much of an underdog, but then everybody expected Barca to win. How did the match play out?
Hi everyone. First,
Sorry, Jesus Christ. Brother, how are you doing? Sorry, I just want to talk about Barcelona because my head is. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. So, nice to be here again. Hi
Thank you.
everyone. Lovely to be here again, like usual. And I didn't really see workouts much like fully because of work, but and actually, to be honest, right, I've not been able to like go over the match and then look at it, watch highlights or
Yeah.
reviews and all of that. But I think it was, I wouldn't say like another, but I think Barca had like one or two decisions that went against them. I think that trended
Yeah.
like on the particular handball incident against what's his name now? This wing back in Inter. Please remind me.
DiMarco.
Was it Marco that's
Yeah.
like the okay?
The hard
But
work.
I think yes, like that handball incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I think on the general outlook, general overview, from what I saw and read, I think I saw like Bakad came like 3-4-3. Xavi like was trying out something new, and then to be honest, like I think it didn't actually work out like totally fine in terms of creating and scoring chances because Baka were like dominating in terms of possession like expected. I think about 28-72 in favor of Baka. And then SG Baka was like on the high side. And then well, Baka just created like just one big chance and then that was it. So I think in a more like intricate look, Baka probably had more possession of the ball and they were able to create enough chances and then fell short to account Canada lose goal, I think, at the stroke of
Yeah.
half time.
Yeah. A lot of Barcelona fans here that I have as friends, they be saying Xavi is not the right manager to take back out through and everything, even if they've been doing well. But they don't believe in Xavi because if you watch that entire game, this guy didn't start KCA, and I thought KCA should have started because number one, he knows the league, he knows Inter Milan, he came from Syria, and to add physicality into the midfield because him going with Pedri and Gavi with Busquets, no much physicality there. You should have just gone with KCA and maybe Pedro or Kizia and Gavi. But then, what do you think about Barcelona, about Xavi, about his
I
time in Barcelona?
personally, I think Xavi is a very, very good manager. I find it absurd. I think this is the first time I'm going to hear someone actually saying doesn't really believe in Xavi in the project that Xavi is actually undertaking. I think it's a little bit. I think maybe Barcelona fans are starting to forget that about 2 seasons ago they were on like it was looking like the end of the world was coming for Barcelona under Ronald Koeman. Like it
Yeah,
was looking like actually like looking very, very bleak for Barca. And then Shaga actually did a very good job last season, getting them to finish second after meeting them like ninth position in the table when it came up
mm-hmm.
and came into the team. And then I think it's still a little bit too early in the season. They've played 3 matches in the Champions League group stage. I think they've won one against
Yeah,
Victoria Pleasant, lost against Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. And I still see them strong favorites to actually get out of the group. I am after Bayern Munich. I think we still have 9 more points to play for. And then in the league, they're performing like very, very well. They're performing very, very well in the league. I think they are unbeaten currently.
Yeah.
I think they're unbeaten currently, and I think they're first on the league too.
Yeah.
So probably in the Champions League, results have been disappointing, and it's not so much like as expected. I think the fact that Xavi is able to bring back the expectations that Barcelona is supposed to be fighting for, to be playing against these big teams and competing and expecting them to beat Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, like 2 seasons. Like I'm pretty sure, like last season they were in the Europa League, like frankly, you get, and then about 2 or 3 seasons ago, being smashed by almost any big team that could find their way around Barcelona, like in Europe. So I think it's a good thing for Barcelona fans to be able to complain about not performing well right now because it shows the level of standard that Xavi is gradually bringing back into the team. And to be honest, I expect Xavi to be able to improve their performances in the Champions League. I'll bet their league performances have been actually really really good from what I've watched so far. And then in regards to Kese not starting, um, uh, I think Kese is sort of a rotation player right now, in as much like himself with De Jong. I think Xavi's preferred midfield three is still Gavi, Pedri, and then Busquets. For the fact that he gets to possess and then recycle possession and then keep possession all of that. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean sometimes it might be necessary to bring in a different type of player profile for for a different type of match. But one funny thing about football is when you win, then you're regarded as a brilliant
Yeah.
manager. You're
Mm.
regarded as like perfect tactics is working fine. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking absolutely good right now. Well done. And then when you start losing now, when things are not going your way, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You have no clue of what is happening. So that's it. That's the football world we are in. And I think that's
Yeah. Okay, so finally on Barcelona, do you think they'll be able to qualify to the next stage in Champions League?
Yeah, to me, right, I see them being able to qualify to the next level Champions League. I think in the three matches they've only played one home game against Pleasant. So that means in the last 3 matches they have two home games
Yeah.
at Camp Nou against Bayern and Inter, and then the away game against Victoria Pleasant. So I expect them to win against Victoria Pleasant, and then against Bayern and Inter at Spotify Camp Nou. I do not expect them to have anything less than 4 out of 6. So yeah, I actually expect them to still qualify because of the fact that they still have 2 games at home against strong sides, and then they still have to face Victoria Pleasant again, which I expect them to win. So
Okay, so we're going to move on to other matches. Bayern won 5-0. No, everybody expected that. Marcel won Sporting 4-1, which was a little bit surprising. But the one we're going to talk about is um Porto won Leverkusen 2-0. We're going to talk about Club Brugge versus Atletico Madrid. Again, I know this is old news for you. You're always saying they should get him sacked and everything, but what is going on with Atletico Madrid at the moment?
um, a funny thing, I don't think I've personally said like I think that's more of a K. I think it's K that is personally against Simeone.
Oh,
Yeah, left to me, right? I think when it comes to Atletico Madrid and Simeone, their relationship is just quite weird. Like it seems like a season, you have a season where they go and struggle and then win the league, and then the next one they are finding it out to find their feet, and like that's it, and on and on and on. I think sometimes eras come to an end, right?
mhm.
And Simeone has been absolutely excellent for Atletico Madrid he's been at the club because getting them to Champions League finals, winning an Europa League, and then winning the Spanish La Liga twice is it's a very very like so I think it's a very strong achievement like what he has been able to do so far. But this season, I mean last season, starting from the last season after they won the league, like I feel Simeone has been trying to experiment and then try so many different formations, trying to bring in some sort of attacking, changes into his team. And it's not been turning out well because I think last season I was reading an article and it showed how many times Simeone was like the highest, like manager, like that was that was like the manager like chopped and changed his formations like the most times because I think he's trying to like try new things and then get the best out of the attacking players. But that being said, they've been performing poorly this season. I think this season they are like sixth in the league, and they've won four, they've lost two, they've drawn one. They have 13 points, 6 points off the four, which is Barcelona. And yeah, so far I think the third in the league is 16 points, and they are 13, so they're just 3 points behind the third. So
but
not too far in the
they're
league.
last in Champions League though.
Yes. Well, in the Champions League, I think they're performing bad, but like quite poorly. I think in the Champions League, in their group, let me see that group. That group should be group
That group is not that hard. Group B.
Group B, Club Brugge, Porto, Leverkusen, and Atletico Madrid. Can you imagine?
It's not that
They
hard.
played three, they've won, and they've lost two. Okay, so that's not very good. That's not
Yeah.
very good at all. But the funny thing is, they are last on the group, and the second on the group has 3 points. So third, from second to fourth, you all have 3 points.
Yeah.
Very funny group, right?
Yeah.
So as I think the thing is, we actually expect Atletico Madrid to perform better than they are, and that is very true. But at the same time, the group is still there for the taking. It's only Club Brugge that has won 3 games, and that means the second, third, and fourth all have 3 points between themselves. And we have the second leg of the Champions League, like the second, second part, the last 3 games
Yeah.
coming through. So I still strongly expect Atletico Madrid to finish second, like at the very least. They could probably even finish first. I don't know. Club Brugge has been performing very, very well this
Yeah.
season so far in the Champions League. So I think worst case scenario, I expect them to finish second because the only person that is ahead of them in the group right now is the first on the table. So they're still probably in a good position.
Okay. So we're moving on. Ajax lost 6-1 to Napoli. How impressive have you been with Napoli? And what about Ajax? They've been so disappointing. They lost at home.
Yes, Napoli has been the team to watch in Europe so
Yeah.
far this season. I mean, they are looking at everything. It just seems like everything is going right for Napoli. Like this season, like the fact that Osimhen has been out since Liverpool's game, and then they've been able to like go into matches and then take control of the matches like fully. I think I was reading an article about Napoli, and then the fact that Torino in the league is usually like a very very tricky match. I
Yeah.
think last time they were not able to. I think they won 1-0 second leg against Torino, and it came like in the dying minute. But this is in the first half they were 3 goals ahead already. So like Napoli this season have actually been very good. Like from Anguissa, like I think this Anguissa guy that they have in the midfield, they've
Yeah,
been
it's really, really good.
for there. And then
From Fulham.
there's this that winger that I cannot pronounce.
I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Is it Kara? I just call him Kara.
So I just try to not embarrass myself. It's been absolutely amazing. Like his playing style, his directness towards the goal. It seems like they are presently not missing Insigne and that's left
Mertens,
for
yeah.
yes, MLS. So it's like Napoli is like the best team in Europe at the at the present moment. They're the first in the Serie A, and they're the first in their group, and their group is pretty, should I say, tricky. Rangers, Liverpool, and Ajax, and then they've been able to successfully beat the three of them, scoring. I think they scored 4 against Liverpool, they scored 6 against Ajax, and they scored
Yeah.
3 against Rangers. So that's like 13 goals in like 3 matches against those guys. So that shows how like that shows the level of quality that they're presently showing at this stage. So I've been impressed with Napoli and Ajax. With Ajax, right, I feel it's understandable. Not the fact that they lost 6-1, the fact that they are presently probably, I think, how many matches have they? I don't know their present position on the group table. I don't know. They're probably what?
That's
Probably
third. Yeah.
third, 1-1, and they lost 2.
Mhm.
Third after Liverpool with six
Liverpool, yeah.
points. Yeah, I personally do not expect them to probably qualify at the end of the day. Maybe I think if they're going to qualify, it's going to either be Napoli suddenly going from 100 to 0, which I do not expect, or Liverpool's detriment. So Ajax have actually lost a lot of players, to be honest. Like looking at
Yeah,
it from the last summer, and then it's a new coach also. So it's like new players, new coach, and then they really have to like they are actually in a very very tricky group. Notwithstanding, losing 6-1 at home is a very very poor result that I'm sure Ajax fans want to forget as quick as possible. So,
do you think this is like a rebuilding process for them?
yes, because when it comes to Ajax, right, it feels like when is it not the rebuilding process for them? Because I think after after their semi-final run last season
Yeah.
with DH and Van de Beek and then Frank de Jong, I think they lost about 3 or 4 players at that point, and then they started again with the
Hmm.
likes of Antonio, I said Antonio, sorry, Anthony, and then Sandro Martinez, and then Edson Alvarez, and then Timber. And then now they've lost Anthony and Lisandro Martinez, who was like the best player in the
Last
whole of last
season.
season,
Yeah.
the best player in the league, sir.
Yeah.
So it's a rebuilding process for them. Not in their league, not in the Eredivisie, because I'm pretty sure that right now they're probably still tearing up the Eredivisie. They're
Yeah, they
probably
are,
still
but to be honest, I don't see them as favorites in the league. I feel PS will win it this time around.
this year.
Yeah.
Let me see. I've not been following very closely
Like,
the Eredivisie. But I think yes. So right now they are second, 19 points
yeah.
after AZ Al Akmar with 20 points and then PSB with 18. So
Yeah.
mm, the thing is, when it comes to Ajax, right, you expect them to be in and around first or second year in year out. So I think when it comes to Eredivisie, they should still be good. But the problem is the Champions League, where naturally we do not expect them to probably go beyond the stages of the round of 16 or at the very best quarterfinal. So yeah, I think an Europa League run won't be the end of the world to
Uh,
Ajax. For Ajax.
I don't know. Now I'm seeing myself as a bad belly. I just don't want them to win the league because of Ten Hag has gone. And I support them so much. I don't want them to win the league. But anyhow, Frankfurt versus Tottenham. What is wrong with Tottenham? They played 0-0. It's like the attacking threat is going. I don't even know. What do you think is wrong?
To be honest, I do not know because I feel with Tottenham there is this. Like I said last time we talked about Tottenham, there like I think last season the fact that Arsenal was not able to get into the top four really, really like made it look like Tottenham were actually like doing so many things good. But so far this season, like the first 6, 7, 8 games so far in the league, I mean they've actually won. Like I've said, not with like the best performances, but they've been winning. Like you can actually win and then you're not performing like at your level, but they're not finding it difficult to win, not until like the last 2 games. They've actually been winning, getting it dogged against teams that they like, when they have to defend deep and then hold to their leads. But they're finding it difficult to score right now because I feel Son is actually not like at the levels that we all expect him to be.
To be,
I think after the hat trick that Son scored against Leicester City, which was like a skewed hat trick, like it just was actually benched for that game, if you remember.
yeah, yeah,
And he came into the game, and then the goals were absolutely world class. Like outside the box, two. The last one was a one-on-one against the keeper, and then hat trick. Aside that match, I don't think there's any other match that Son has actually showed his level of quality that we all saw from him like the previous season. And so
yeah,
I think it has really, really made it difficult for them to get up to like the scoring levels that they had last season. And I think in the last match against Marcel, was it Marcel? Yes. Was it no, Frankfurt? I mean, I
yeah.
don't think
Frankfurt.
did Kulusevski play.
Ooh,
I don't think so. Kulusevski. I think it was Richarlison and then Son and then Kane. I don't think
um,
Kulusevski played. So there's this particular thing that Kulusevski offers to Tottenham right now is the fact that he's able to link up their midfield, their attack, right? He's able to get into those half spaces as a 10. He's like a hybrid winger slash midfielder because he's able to get into those half spaces and then link it up with Son and Kane, and then Son is always the runner. Then Kane tries to drop deep and then gets to the box when it's actually needed. And so like they lose a particular dimension of play when Kulusevski doesn't play in contrast to Richarlison. Richarlison is more like getting to the box, finishing moves. He actually does his best, but not as creative with the kind of passes that he's just able to do. Is it the cutback passes or those little true passes that go through the half space that Kulizeski is able to do? So I think presently now they're currently missing him. For the last two games that they played without Kulizeski, they've not been able to generate as much chances as they should be able to. But I think if Son is able to, upturn his form, and then Kulizeski is back, and then this is where I keep on saying at times I see Harry Kane and I'm like, I actually expect you to try to turn up at times. But I mean, you cannot just go banging in all the goals yourself every match. So I think they really have to find their scoring boats before it gets too late and complicated.
Okay, so Liverpool Rangers, Liverpool won, brilliant free kick from Arnold. Salzburg, Dynamo Zagreb, Leipzig versus Celtic. Leipzig won 3-1. I'm sorry, Leipzig won 3-1 against Celtic. Juventus won 3-1. Madrid won 3-1. Dortmund won 4-1 against Sevilla, who sacked their manager. What's your opinion on that? And
Oh yes, I think I said it like 2 or 3 weeks ago that the
yeah,
next my West sacked is Julian Lopetegui and Allegri.
mhm.
For some reason, Allegri is still at his job. I think
Yeah,
he's won so much on the bounce now.
yeah.
And then
The channel where I was watching it, Fabrizio spoke on this. Fabrizio said the reason why Juventus are adamant on sacking this guy Allegri is because they have his wages are too much. Like he has from now to 2025 and 9 million each. So it doesn't matter, you're paying him 9 million to 2005. So I think that's one of the reasons why. Yeah. So
so I mean with Allegri, right? I feel the sack is pretty much going to come like anytime, anytime soon. With Julian Lopetegui, he actually he actually raised Sevilla standards, like judging from his last 2 seasons. I mean, at some point last season they were competing for the league title. I mean, in the early stages of last season, they were about first in some position before they started going on this winners run and then drawing several matches in a row. And he also won the Europa League with them. I think he also won the Europa League with
yeah.
them. I think the one it was against who in the final? Was it Manchester United?
No, no. Is it Lopetegui?
Yes,
No, he
Sevilla.
didn't, he
Sevilla
didn't,
won the
he didn't win
Europa League.
he didn't win
Who,
Europa
who,
League.
who won the last Europa League?
Villarreal.
No, 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 no. Villarreal lost
Oh,
to
okay,
Bayern
last
Munich.
one. No, Villarreal beat Man U. Then the last one was
Oh,
Frankfurt Rangers.
yes, I think it was like 3-1, 3. Like yes, I think it was not the one before Man U. I think that was the one that Sevilla won. I'm trying to remember who they
Oh
beat
yeah, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah, 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 yeah. But that was
Yes,
not on Emery when they beat
I think
Inter.
it's Lopetegui. I think yeah. Was it Inter?
Yeah, they beat
Yes,
Inter.
yes, it was Lopetegui. Yes, because I remember Lopetegui was dismissed from Spain after the World Cup, like during the World Cup. Was it during the World Cup even? That was dismissed for Spain, and then he got the job. Yes, yes, I think it was the one. I think I was reading the
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
career
yeah, yeah.
summary of Lopetegui, like
Mhm.
after he was being sacked, and yes, he won the Europa League with Sevilla,
Yeah.
and then last season he actually did his best to get them because at some point he was actually first, and then they started suffering from this lack of goals. They tried
Yeah.
to sign Martial from Man United to see if it could help. It actually wasn't like it was a transfer that went into the flames. It didn't work for anybody. Neither it didn't work for Sevilla nor for Martial. And their performance this season has been very woeful. Like they've been very woeful this season. Because so far this season, I think in the league they are about um, I think 17th, and that's very poor for a club like Sevilla's for a club like Sevilla's level. 17, they've played seven, they've lost four, they've won just one, and they've drawn two. In the Champions League also, they've been quite poor. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's sometimes it comes to a point where you have to say, okay, fine, you've done your best for us, but I think it's time to go. So I think that's just the case here.
Okay. Just quickly talk to us about Jude Bellingham being the captain of Dortmund and what you see him as a player.
Is a fantastic footballer because I think when it comes to one reason why I highly rate midfielders that are quite young and then are able to like hone their craft like so quickly is because as a midfielder there are several aspects that come to your game as like the more you get experience, the more you get to play in the midfield. When you play in the midfield, it's not so much about like the amount of work you have to do when you're on the ball is almost equal to what you have to do when you're off the ball.
Of the
Your
ball, yeah.
understanding of positioning, your understanding of space, your understanding of when to pass, when to slow the tempo, when to increase the tempo of the game. Like there are so many things that come with playing in the midfield. And that's why I massively rate players like Bellingham and Pedri because it's very like it's very what's the word now? It's very like I think I highly rate the fact that you are 19 or you're 20 years old and you're able to perform so excellently well. You've played so many games at that age.
Yeah.
It's a testament to your abilities. So I think Bellingham captaining Dortmund at this point is a very big milestone in his career. And I think starting from when he was playing for
Birmingham.
what's yeah,
Birmingham.
Birmingham. Yes, from UK from I think championship.
Mm-hmm.
He's always had this leadership and this character that comes that it's obvious that he has it. And then it's I think from here on it's just about the upward trend for him. I expect him to leave Dortmund after this season, and then we get to see where he's going to go to next because he's actually a world class player in the making, if not one already.
That's where I was going to go. That's where I was coming to. Where do you see him next season? Chelsea, United, Man City, Liverpool.
I think I think the fact that you are as young as he is and you have this sort of clubs lining up and then converting to sign you is like a wonderful, it's quite good. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he has a really Spurs at Dortmund. I don't know if
I
he
don't
has a
think so. I don't think so. Even not to have
but
been about it.
yeah, I think it's going to be quite expensive to get him
Mm-hmm.
next season. And I think it's most likely going to be an English club. I actually see Bellingham coming back to the Premier League.
Yeah, like what
I
team?
Yeah, that's the problem. I think because of the amounts that it's going to take to sign him, that's the only reason why I see Liverpool having a slight down
Yeah,
hand.
me too.
Probably Chelsea and Man City having a hopper hand as a result of the amount it takes to sign him. Man United actually have enough funds to do that. And I think the fact that Man United being able to sign him actually comes down to their performances this season.
Yeah.
If they are not in the Champions League this season, I do not think he's going to sign for them. I do not
Yeah.
think he's going to sign for them. But if Man is able to get Champions League football this season, I think they're also in a good position to sign one of the best young kids, young footballers that we have in our hands
Yeah.
in football at this present moment.
I don't know. I feel like Manchester United is the best project for him to come because if he's going to City, he's going to a team that's already good. Nobody's going to notice him like that. If he's going to Chelsea, he's going to maybe Chelsea, but United is a bigger club than Chelsea. Come fix our midfield and then I don't know. You'll be like the next big
I
thing.
think if either Gundogan or Bernardo Silva leaves next season, then Man City are actually going to go for him really well.
But why would you want to go to Man City when you know that this is good? Like
The problem is you as a midfielder, right? Like you're going to find like very hard to resist the chance of playing under Pep.
under Pep, yeah,
That,
that's just
that,
the
that,
thing. Yeah,
that's just like the fact that you're able to play on that Pep. I think that's one thing that's helping Man City right now. Like Pep alone is a very huge factor. Like you want to play under him, you want to improve your game. He's one of
yeah,
the best when it comes to possession football. Nobody actually right now in world football as a coach in terms of possession football could probably offer you a better improvement to your game than Pep could. I think if he looks at KDB's career and the fact that Pep has been able to convert KDB from the kind of player he was growing to leaving Wolfsburg to this very all-rounded midfielder. I think it's going to be like I really want to get into that kind of position with Pep. I really want to be here.
yeah.
So I think that might be like a very big factor too.
Okay, so let's move on. Man City beating Copenhagen 5-0. Alan scored 2 goals. I mean, I used one app and then when a player scores, they put the player's picture and they put, oh, this player scored at this time. But then They just kept Alan's picture and they were like, you know what's going to happen. You already know the next thing. There's no need for me to write Alan's corner. I was like, hi, Jesus Christ. But then Man City winning 5-0. We're going to talk about Man City later because we're moving to the Prem. We're going to talk about just a little bit about Benfica and PSG. 1-1. Everybody expected PSG to win, but then Benfica came, give them a game, and they ended 1-1. What do you think about that?
I think it was at PS at Benfica's home
Yeah,
ground.
yeah,
Yes, I think Messi scored an absolute stunner,
yeah.
a really world class goal. And to be honest, I didn't watch the game, but it's just going to be the old cliche. PSG had most possession, and then
Mhm.
Benfica were able to like. I actually do not know if Benfica actually took their game plan to PSG. And I think a 1-1 result is actually very good for Benfica at this point in that group. I think
Yeah.
right now they're level on points with PSG in the group, seven
Mm.
7 points each, followed by
Um,
Juventus. And
yeah.
yes, yeah, so they're level on points with PSG. So Benfica are actually putting themselves into the mix. I think I actually watched Benfica's Champions League qualification against Dynamo Kiev, and they absolutely were on top of the match, like both home and away. They were absolutely good. And I think so far this season in their league, I do not think they're first. I think that's Braga. I think yes. Oh, sorry, I stand to be corrected. Benfica are actually first in their league.
Yeah.
They played seven, they've drawn one, they've not lost any. So
Mm-hmm.
I think Benfica are actually in a rich vein of form. And yeah, I think it's a very good result for them, trying to draw PSG. And after playing PSG and Juventus so far,
Mm-hmm.
being second in the group is a testament to how good they've been.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Jesse said Chelsea was going to smash AC Milan, and they did. AC Milan did not turn up that day. What do you think the problem was?
I think Chelsea got their game right. I think Chelsea
Okay.
got their game right. I think Chelsea were absolutely on top. I think Chelsea were the better team. And I actually expected AC Milan to sort of put up a fight. And I have to say and admit that I think Jesse was absolutely correct in
Mm-hmm.
predicting that they were going to beat AC. I think it was absolutely correct. I think I told him already today. I think this is the best game that Chelsea has played under Potter so far. I think Potter got like he got his tactics right, the pressing, the middle phase, the attacking phase. I think Chelsea fans were quite unhappy with Sterling performances in this match. I think they
Mm-hmm.
were complaining about his finishing and all of that. But it's going to be a story they're going to get used to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But
Okay.
Chelsea were absolutely on top of that game, and yeah, I think they deserved the victory with that margin also.
Yeah.
And also, Rafael Leao is a good player in the making. Also, I think is a player that I think with the right things in place could actually turn out to be one of the best players of this generation.
Yeah. Rafael Leao.
About
Do you
to be.
think? Do you think he's going to be a AC Milan player next season?
Yes, I think he's going to be an similar player next season. But I do not think he's going to be an similar player for you know 2 or 3 seasons from now. No, but next
Mhm.
season, yes, I think he's still going to start a similar next season.
Okay. So let's move. Okay, still on Chelsea. Well, let's move it to the Premier League now. Chelsea's opponents this weekend is against Wolves. What What do you think about the match and Bruno Lage being sacked? I don't think they've hired a new manager yet. No, they've not.
I do not think so. I do
Yeah.
not think so.
So what do you think? What are you saying about the match? Because they're playing at Stamford Bridge. What's your opinion?
Okay, so Chelsea Wolves. Personally, right, I think it could have been a tricky game for Chelsea, but the fact now that Lage is no longer in the dugout for Chelsea
Mm-hmm.
is 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 something that I probably expect them to win the game. I expect Chelsea to actually win the game, but I think the fact that it's Wolves, I think Wolves have actually so far not played so badly
Mm-hmm.
to me, right? Like the few times I've watched Wolves, I think they've actually played well,
Played well,
but
yeah.
they've been finding it very difficult to score. Like I mean, like their scoring performances this season has been like low, like in comparison to other teams. And what happens is football is all about goals. You do not get 3 points if you don't score.
Oh yeah.
If you don't score, your best chance is a point. That's if your opponent doesn't even score you. So I think that's been one of the downfalls of Bruno Lage that led to
Do
his
you think they
sacking.
should have given him more time? Because
Yes.
yeah, yeah, okay.
To me, yes. To me, yes. To me, I think he should have been given more time. To me, I feel like he should have been given more time. But in the Premier League, it's when it comes to the fact that you've been able to like they've given you like I would say some amount of leverage in the transfer window. I think Wolves actually spent decently enough in the transfer window.
Yeah.
They brought in Martin Nunes, they brought in a striker that actually got injured, and they had to do this panic buying of Diego Costa. And then they've actually brought in some players, and then I think they expect Wolves to probably be in like the top 10 right now in the league. And then them not being able to occupy that position at the present moment is probably quite disappointing for the Wolves owners. And then yeah, I do not know the next manager that they have in mind to get for their team. But I mean, if the results don't come in, then you just know that you're probably going to be sacked at some point. Right now, they're 18th in the league.
Yeah.
That's quite poor. That's quite poor. The only thing that they are only like the only thing that's beneath them is Leicester City and Nottingham Forest. So that shows how poor they've been. But yeah, going through Chelsea matches against Wolves in recent times, Chelsea have actually been unable to beat Wolves in like the last 4 matches.
Yeah.
4 matches. So last season they drew 2-2 against Wolves. I think that I can remember that match. That was when Lukaku scored 2 goals, and then Wolves came back from 2-0 to draw 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, they played 0-0 twice, and then they lost to Wolves 2-1. So Wolves are unbeaten against Chelsea in like 4 trips, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to make it a quite tricky match for Chelsea. And personally, I think so far Chelsea under Potter, Chelsea have been displaying their this what comes with the new manager, right? But they've not been scoring so many goals aside the AC Milan one. And then I think Wolves is actually a decent side, defensive wise. They do not
Yeah.
concede so many like that. So it could be one of those your boring, tricky matches, and then Chelsea end up winning 1-0 or 2-0. Yeah.
And okay, just tell me, do you think this guy is going to be a success at Wolves? Him coming back to the bridge this weekend, Diego Costa. Do you
Yeah,
think?
I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't start because
Yeah.
I think he's still coming back to full fitness because he hasn't played like he didn't play for like a while after leaving Korea. I think it was at Brazil before
Yeah.
he came back to Italy. So he's still getting back to full fitness. But I think he played some part in Wolves last game. In Wolves
Mm-hmm.
last game, I think he played some parts in that match. Coming back to the bridge, I think him scoring. I think Diego Costa is a fan's favorite, like at Chelsea, because I think
Yeah.
like their last striker that actually met up to the
Mm-hmm.
standard. Since then, I don't think they've been able to like get any other good striker since then, like in terms of goals and productivity. So it's a sweet story. Him coming back to Stamford Bridge and imagine him getting the ball. It's a story that is going to like sound well for himself, and then yeah. But in all, I think Diego Costa is such a fierce competitor, and he wants to get the goal if he plays. And then, most importantly, Wolves win, which will really mean so much to them at this point of the season.
Okay. Yeah, I've talked about Diego Costa. Let's talk about Aubameyang. Do you think he'll be a success at Chelsea?
I think when it comes to goals, Aubameyang is going to score. It's
Yeah.
quite obvious. I mean, he's a goal scorer. Everywhere he's been. In the Premier League, in the Bundesliga, in the Ligue 1, in La Liga, Santander. Now he's back in the Premier League. And I think he has 2 goals. Is it 2 goals now or 3?
He
I
has
think
two now. One
he has
against
2 goals.
Crystal Palace, one in Champions
Yes,
League.
I think he scored 1. I think it's 3. I think he scored 1 against this match that Chelsea drew in the Champions League. Potter's first Champions League match. They won 1.
Okay. Yeah. He did.
I think he has 3 goals now. So when it comes to Aubameyang, he's going to score. He's like a goal scorer. When you have a goal scorer, even if there are not so many chances, I'm sure he knows how to score. Like when you're a goal scorer, you know how to score. One thing about goal scorers is the size of the goalpost doesn't diminish. It doesn't go down. Like once you know how to score, you expect to know how to score. Probably you're not going to score many goals because you don't have as many chances, but you're still going to score. So Aubameyang is going to get double digits for Chelsea this season. I'm pretty sure in the league, maybe 10, 12, 10 to 15 goals. I think so. And then yeah, so it depends on what Chelsea fan probably defines success by. If it's in terms of his goals, I think it's going to be a success because he's going to score goals.
Yeah.
But if the goals are actually going to lead to general team improvements, then I think that's what we're probably going to look for in terms of defining his success at Chelsea.
Oh, okay. Man City. So let's move on to Man City. Do you even need to talk about Man City? Self? You already know they're going to smash Southampton. Haaland's going to come score a trick again. Well, let's talk about Southampton, Man City. This is your club, so tell us what are you expecting from Man City and what do you think? What stress do you think Southampton can give Man City tomorrow?
Yes, I think Southampton against Man City is always tricky. We couldn't get a win over them last season. Home and away. We couldn't get a win over them last season. As funny as it sounds. I think we lost one and then we drew one.
Yeah, you guys smiling, talking about his team.
But to be honest, aside the fact that Man City fan, right now we are actually in very good form, especially at home. We are in very very good form. We've been scoring loads of goals at home this season, loads of goals at home. I think so far this season we've played about 4 matches and we've scored like 27 goals or something like that. So and Alan has been. I think a friend of mine was telling me yesterday that it's going to come to a point if it keeps on going like this, where Alan sees every home game as an opportunity for him to score, even if it's not an hat-trick. He's going to see every home game like, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
an home game. I'm probably going to score a goal at the very least. Like that's the point it's going to like it's going to get to. Like there is this like probably constant expectation that when we play at Etihad, I'm probably going to
And
score goals.
yeah.
Yes, even if he doesn't score, because when he start going to away grounds and then teams are trying to understand that we place the more and then things are getting more difficult, then it's the second half of the season is not going to be as explosive as this. We all know that teams are probably going to find a way to fine tune themselves and then
Yeah.
get to how to create space and then fight against him. But the only thing that comes with Alan is the amount of chances that Man City players generate. It's absurd. Like this, like Man City actually scored about almost 100 goals last season in the league without having this nine. I want Jesus is actually a striker, but it wasn't like a full force nine last season.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually expect us to win, definitely because of the strong form that we are in right now. And Southampton so far this season have not actually been like so good. I think they are about 16th on the table. They've lost five and only
Yeah,
won
16th. Yeah.
so I expect a win. I expect a win.
Yeah. First of all, before we move further, what is your score prediction for Chelsea's Wolves? Chelsea Wolves.
Um, to be honest, I see a draw. To be honest, I see a draw. But if Chelsea eventually get to win, probably a 1-0 or 2-0.
Okay. I know you're a Man City fan, you probably don't talk about this and everything, but then what's the best way to stop it? What do you think is the best way to stop Haaland?
Hmm. To be honest, I think right now it's quite difficult to find from because it's so annoying. I think so because I think the only match he didn't score this season was against Bournemouth,
Yeah.
right? Because Bournemouth played such a deep line, such a deep defensive line. Everybody was on our land, and then when you do that, you actually forget that Man City as a team
Yeah.
have so many players that could still hurt you, like hurt you badly. Like I mean, if KDB wants to hurt anything, he could hurt anything badly, like really, really bad. So I think that's quite the dilemma for teams this season because it's a matter of do we just go and okay fine, we want to focus on Ireland and then do we want to give Bernardo Silva and KDB and Foden and probably Mahrez to have a free field day, and then it's like we are holding Haaland, and then KDB is like, cool, see space. Like you don't want to afford
Mhm.
space for KDB, like in any way. Like that's the worst person you want to do that for in the league. So the problem with Haaland this season is because Spain is such. I know it's my team, but I think it's quite obvious for us to see that Man City is actually like having so many good players, and you cannot afford to hold on to a player and then leave the rest alone. And
Yeah.
because you cannot afford to hold on to Haaland, the fact that Haaland has some little amount of space, that makes it a little bit harder again because he's so smart. The second goal against Copenhagen, he scored a goal, and if you see Pep's face on the touchline, Pep's face was like, move, and then the press conference, he was asked that was he surprised at like probably the goal because it was probably just a tap in. So why was he making that face? And it was like this instinct, like this instinct for goals. Like there is a deflection and then he's the first to get there. There is a tap in, there's a player is playing a shot and then the ball is going to spin and then suddenly he's the first to go there.
Yeah.
Why is he always in that position? Like it's just that instinct that he has as a striker. That kind of instinct is very, very hard for you to like mark at times. I think his hat-trick against Mayu was this good. Like he actually came from the back of Lisandro Martinez, and then before Martinez could get into the bang,
Yeah.
it's a goal. So that's what makes it so hard because he could probably not have more than 10 touches in a game, and then the only touch he has in the box is the goal. So it makes it really really hard for
Yeah.
teams to mark him.
And
But I
what?
think
Okay. Continue.
with time, things are probably going to understand better. It's not going to be like a trick
Yeah.
every 4 games. The way it's looking like it's quite absurd right now. But he's still going to score. Like with the way things are, except he has an injury. Even if he comes back from an injury, he's still going to score. Like
Yeah.
that's just the
Yeah.
facts that we have to live with right now.
I think one special thing I've noticed about Haaland is that he's never offside. Like he's never
That's
offside.
what I
Like
was.
as
He
tall
finds
as
his
this guy
game.
is, like there's some many goals that he scored against Man United. Like he's offside. Like this guy is so clearly his foot is going to be offside or anything. And I'll sit down like, what? How is this guy not offside?
Like,
Like
like, I think there was really something about him. Like when he was growing up, it was not expected to have this gigantic build. And
yeah,
so during that period, he was training himself like his speed and then his movement and then his positioning. Because when you're a striker and then you have this physical advantage, you're
yeah,
able to like say, okay, fine, let me just play with the defender and then try to fight for the ball and then one versus one against the defender I should be. But it's so surprising, like he's tall and then he's fast. Like you will be so surprised how quick Alan is. Like
yeah,
when it leaves you. So his fall is fast, he's good in the air, is at times is run so perfectly despite how tall and huge he is in the box. It's always like he always has this extra advantage over the defender. When the ball comes and all the suddenly he's the first person to attack it and then it's a goal and you're like, where is it coming from? So it looks like it's the tapping ball. It's just movement and then appreciation of space. So I mean we could really have a player that we could probably talk about in the next decade on our hands right
yeah.
now.
Um, let's move on. So what's the score prediction for Man City Southampton?
Mm, eh, eh, I, a 3-1, 3-0. Yeah, I don't know. I expect us to win, to be honest.
Ah, God, where will I go into the weekend saying I expect us to win? What?
I don't know if you actually want to play Southampton right now. Will you believe that you wouldn't win? I think you played Southampton already. I think you played 1-0. Was it not the
Yes,
match that Bruno scored?
yes.
Yeah.
Like no watch. I was just shouting. I was like, what's going on here? But then let's move on. Let's talk about Brighton versus Tottenham. Brighton, the new manager, joined to Liverpool last game. They were so impressive. What do you think about this match?
Brighton Tottenham is. Can you hear me? Hello?
Brighton.
Hello?
Okay,
Can you hear me?
yeah. Are you back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I
we're,
am.
we're talking about Brighton. Well, so we're moving on to Brighton versus Tottenham.
Exactly. So,
First of all, oh
yes.
sorry, I was going to ask. First of all, Conte came out and saying, I was saying, talking about Spence, talking about his players, saying how his players are rubbish or anything. I don't know what he was saying, but then he was saying something important.
I think it was about the reporter asking him why some of his players are not playing, and then he's
Okay.
like I'm the one that's being paid to make these decisions. No matter how much the fans try to dream or imagine they are in the lineup,
Yeah,
I'm going to be the one to decide if he's going to play or not. And I'm sorry to say, you probably didn't say it this way, but I see like it's like him saying, "I'm sorry to say, you could make all the noise in the world, but I'm going to be the one to decide if he's going
yeah.
to play or not." So
Like
sorry.
that relationship with Conte and Tottenham fans, like I don't even know. It's not building at all. What do you think about it?
I think with Conte, what Tottenham fans can just appreciate is the fact that he's probably just going to help them win games. You know, he might not be the manager to have this beautiful relationship that they had with Mauricio Pochettino. I do not expect them to think that they're going to have that with Conte. But Conte is going to bring this kind of we are winning, so we should be happy, right? So it's going to bring that kind of relationship with the fans. And then when it comes to same thing that comes with Jose Mourinho is like when that winning aspect goes, and then things are looking bleak, and then it's now looking like
Yeah.
it's not a sweet relationship with the fans. But when they are winning, the fans are like, oh yeah, that's fine, we can win, and
Yeah.
then that's good. Yeah, exactly. So that's what comes to Conte.
Yeah. Okay. So, wait. Before I go into that, because this is something that I've discussing and managers' relations with the fans and everything. As a Man City fan, yeah, I'm looking at it from outside, so I don't know if I'm right and everything. I don't think the what club has at Liverpool that season. That was when I had this conversation. What club has at Liverpool with the fans and everything? Do you guys feel it with Pep? Like, do you feel the relationship with Pep? Or do you
Yes,
just
I mean,
think, Pep is just there to win trophies and everything, or you actually feel the relationship with Pep?
yeah, I actually think I actually think as fans we do because it's quite important. I think Man City fans feel very, very happy that the fact that Pep would actually spend 5, 6 years at Man
Yeah, and
City
Man City.
is a huge testament of how much he decides to like stick with the club projects, believe in what is happening, and then work with what is happening. So I think it's a very, very uh, good relationship, if you ask me. I think it's a good relationship, if you ask me, because the fact that he's able to stay this long, because a manager of Pep's pedigree in the game, he could decide to leave today and he would get a job at any top
And
club
it, yeah,
in the world right now. No matter how much people say, it's a checkbook fraud, is this no club is going to absolutely reject having club at having Pep at that club. Nobody like if there is a poll right now saying Eric Ten Hag to be sacked right now and then Pep coming into the
no, but then, see,
nobody
GB, let me tell you,
no
let me tell you about my fans. We are very, very traditional in these things. I don't think we want a city manager at our club. Like,
I don't think he would ever reject Pep.
to be honest, I don't think I want Pep to manage United now. Now, before went to City, yes, I would take him. But then now, nah, in my club,
Uh,
I love
um, I,
Pep, yeah.
I, I think there are many Man United fans that are going to disagree with
Uh,
you.
like,
Well, as I was saying, yes, I think we actually feel this very good relationship with the fact that I mean, if you watch his press conferences very often, he has a restaurant in Manchester. He
oh, he
actually does.
does. Wow,
Yes, he does.
nice.
He has a restaurant in Manchester. In his press conference today, I think a reporter was asking him about Gundogan's wife, saying there is not so much good food in Manchester and all of that. And I was like, yeah, don't worry. I will make sure that Gundogan doesn't pay until he and his wife visit my restaurant and then taste some good food. So I think, stuff like this shows like, yeah, fine. He
Uh,
actually,
well, this one that he has a restaurant, that means he's planning to stay there for long. Fuck him.
I don't know the part.
Okay, so let's talk about Tottenham versus Brighton.
Yes, if you ask me, I think this should be one of the top two matches you should watch this weekend.
Yeah.
This is probably going to be an absolutely interesting match because I feel Tottenham are not going to sit deep this match and wait for Brighton to come into them. Tottenham will want to attack and win this game. I'm pretty sure Conte as a manager does not like to win does not like to find it difficult to win one game in 3 matches consecutively. So and Brighton are absolutely playing good football right now. I mean, starting from the beginning of the season when Pata was still a dugout, and I think Roberto De Zerbi has always been quite an interesting manager, starting from his days at Sassuolo before going to Shakhtar Donetsk, and then now he's at Brighton. So if you watch the game against Liverpool, despite the fact that Liverpool came out, when you play at Anfield and Liverpool is coming with this Gengen pressing and then full blown pressing, and then so many things are like panicking, playing the ball, and they're like, we can't pass it from the back, we want to clear the ball, and then But if you see how well Brighton were organized and like, fine, we're going to actually hold our ground, we're going to play this ball from the back and create chances the way we want to. And then when they were 2-0 up at some point, it's a testament to how well structured and how well this team believes in the principles that this new coach is actually bringing out. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting watch. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting watch. You should probably not miss this.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to take on the 3 points? Who do you think is winning this game?
Now, I think Tottenham is going to take the 3 points. I think Tottenham is going to take, if you ask me, because I think there is this extra edge that comes with Conte.
Brighton's at home.
Yes, I think Brighton's at home. To be honest, this is exactly why I said this match is going to be like a very, very interesting one, because I feel Tottenham are going to go all out for it. Like, we want to win this game. And I think Brighton is going to be like, we are not scared of anybody. If you want to come to win, you have to deserve it, because we're absolutely going to play what we want to play. And so it's going to be very interesting. So, but left to me, I still see Conte winning this. I'll bet it's probably going to be a very close one.
Okay. So your score prediction?
Despite the fact that I said Tottenham is going to win, I think it's going to probably be like a 2-2.
Okay, so we're going to leave the big one for the last. Let's talk about Everton versus Manchester United. First of all, I think Twitter was trending. Ronaldo is finished. He's gone. So, what do you think about Ronaldo?
No, definitely not. I'm a Messi fan. I'm a Messi guy. Big Messi guy.
I'm a Messi guy too, but
well, yeah. I mean, you just have to appreciate what he's done over the years. It's not something that everybody has done. I think the fact that he's been able to, based on pure football, like what football is, Messi has been absolutely exceptional. But the fact that Ronaldo is able to be in the conversation for this long is a testament to how good he's been. Like, how good he's been able to push himself to get himself to, like, no, when you mention Messi, you are going to mention me. That is like, I think even not for Ronaldo, it should have been Messi all these years, to be honest. Well, the fact that he's absolutely there, even till now, is now, I think what Ronaldo is suffering from right now is just what happens when you are 37 and then you are playing in a team that really does not have much of an identity, and then you are and then you are not in good form. I do not think Ronaldo is in good form right now.
Yeah,
he's absolutely not. He's squandering chances that Ronaldo will probably score with his eyes closed. I think I saw one or two of his misses here, and I was like, no. Ronaldo will absolutely score these goals. Eyes closed like this. Give me this ball, is the goal. Is back in it. Well, right now he's suffering from a blip in form. I mean, Messi suffered from a blip in form at the beginning of last season with PSG. He was absolutely having like 3 league goals at some point, as of February or something.
Yeah.
So, and then with Ten Hag now, it's going to make it very difficult for Ronaldo to regain his momentum and his rhythm, because Martial is back, and I'm sorry to say, Ronaldo is not going to start ahead of Martial as long as Ten Hag is the coach. I'm sorry to say.
So you don't think Ronaldo start this weekend?
No. It's not going to.
But like, I feel like because Martial just coming back, maybe you might just want to give him a rest.
I think Marshall is going to
A good
start.
start. Okay.
The 2 games Marshall has played is given a good account of himself.
Yeah.
The few games Marshall has played against Liverpool, he didn't play so many minutes, but it was quite obvious what this guy can bring to the team. Like
Yeah.
it's quite obvious that if Marshall is playing, you are most likely to see an
To win.
improvement in how
Yeah.
Rashford plays. I think I've said that several
Yeah.
times on here. So, and if Rashford plays well, that is absolutely going to transfer to the rest of the team because I think Anthony is a player that I absolutely expects to play well. I think at some point Sancho might probably not start as many games as
Yeah.
I think is.
That's what I was going to ask you next year.
Yeah, so I think with what I've seen, at some point it's probably going to be Rashford, Martial, and Anthony at some point. But it's still wide open. With the front three, there is still amounts of changes that could probably happen. And then I think Everton is going to be a test.
Yeah.
Everton is going to be.
Do you agree with Roy Keane when he said Ten Hag is on United that disrespecting Ronaldo when not starting in?
I think on this channel, you guys know I'm not a big fan of Roy Keane as a pundit.
Yeah.
I am not a big fan of Roy Keane as a
Yeah,
pundit.
because he said when Ten Hag said he did bring on Ronaldo on the second half because of his career, it was already 4-0, you want to bring him on and everything. And then people are saying that it's just an excuse, blah blah blah, it's respecting Ronaldo and everything. What do you think of that situation in general?
I think to some extent Ten Hag is right because I mean, why do you want to bring in Ronaldo against Man City 4-0 half time?
As in, like, yes, this is going to score five.
Exactly. Like, do you expect Ronaldo to come in and okay, I want to score five? The same Ronaldo we're talking about, he has not been in good form so far. He has not been in good form so far. So, to be honest, I think him not bringing in Ronaldo, he probably could have because of the amount of options he had. But him not bringing in Ronaldo is definitely not the end of the world because I don't expect Ronaldo to come in and score 5 goals.
Yeah.
And at that point, the Manchester United were in. They probably just needed to say, okay, Marshall is coming back from injury. Let's bring him in. There is no much pressure for him to perform. This is just he could just use this to get up to
Yeah,
10.
exactly.
Yeah, and he scored 2 goals. I think which is very very good for his confidence. I
Yeah.
think Manchester United fans from that match will probably see Martial because those 2 goals, see the penalty he played. He absolutely smashed it to the top corner because
Yeah.
yeah. So I think him bringing in Martial to me is absolutely a better decision than bringing in Ronaldo because there's absolutely nothing Ronaldo. Ronaldo was going to start during the week, whether anything happened or not.
Yeah.
So why not?
I, I, I
So
think I think I actually see where you're coming from when you say Marshall is going to start because Marshall looks
yes,
like Marshall looks like Ten Hag's favorite player already. Like even yesterday, after Marshall came and scored, and then they asked him in his press conference, he said we really, really, really missed Marshall. That you see better improvement. And I was like, is this guy trying to say his whole gameplay is based around Marshall? But then I just saw how he was talking about Marshall, how impressed he was with Marshall. So I think I agree with you when you say Marshall is going to start ahead of Ronaldo. Hello, GB. Okay, so it's like we misplaced GB there, and then we're talking about how Manchester United is playing Everton, and then we're talking about how GB said he feels Martial is going to start ahead of Ronaldo, and it's difficult at this moment because we don't even know if we don't even know how fit Martial is, and then we don't know how fit Martial is, but it's looking like Martial is Ten Hag's favorite man, and personally, as a Man United fan, I'm really scared about this game. I'm really scared. I don't know if we are going to win because and before we even move on, if we are going to win, I think we should talk about Casemiro. I've been hearing a lot of people saying Marshall didn't play well. Sorry, Casemiro didn't play well last night, and I just feel like the second half we saw an improvement from Casemiro's game. Like if we give him time, give him more time, we're going to see what Casemiro can do at United shed. So I just think we just need to give him more time. And I think Casemiro has to start tomorrow over McTominay. And Ericsson. Okay, I think we have GB back. GB, are you here? I think I'm muted. Can't hear you. Yeah, talk. We're not hearing you. You're muted now. You're muted. You're still muted.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes. So sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking about how this guy, I was just saying how this guy has really declined. Not really, not like decline, but like his performance is reducing. Ericsson, like I think he needs a rest because I don't know why Ten Hag keeps on starting him because I don't even know why he needed to start Ericsson. Why do you think?
Um. Uh. Did he play well yesterday?
Yeah, he
Did he
did.
play the match?
He did. Yeah, he did.
Did he play well?
No, not really. Just there.
Okay. I think one thing that we might just have to understand is sometimes there probably could be like off days, and I think it's against Manchester City and the last one that I didn't play well. I think the problem with Ten Hag right now is actually not in a position to rest and rotate so many players in the midfield. Like that's one of his biggest problem right now because Scott McTominay is the kind of player that could probably be 100 today and a -20 tomorrow. Like
Tomorrow, yeah.
it's so unstable. And then when it comes to Fred, there is just some uncertainties about him. So I think I actually expect Casemiro to come back into the starting lineup. I think
Yeah,
he's
me
going
too.
to start tomorrow, Casemiro,
On Sunday, yeah.
and then I think Ericsson is going to start ahead with him beside him in the midfield, and then Bruno. So I think with the combination with Casemiro, we might just wait to see if it could probably bring back the Ericsson that we've seen from the first 5, 6 games so far in the season. And that's just the problem with Manchester United right now. Like there is no chance for rotations. Wins are needed badly. Wins are needed badly. So any team that is probably going to give me the best shot at it. Now, I think one very question mark for me this season is where is Van de Beek?
He's injured.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
that's the thing that's annoying now because that's actually my favorite player at United. So at the time I feel like it's going to have the chance to play is now that he's injured and it's so annoying.
yes.
But then let's talk about Everton. No, before we talk about Everton, do you think this is just that's the last question on United? Do you think the next starts the same thing over and over again to get chemistry and to imprint his game plans on them? Or why do you because that's the way I see it, or do you just think, oh, okay, he also have more options on the bench, that's why he doesn't change?
Okay. I think right now, Man U fans, like I said from the start, we have to be patient because this is a team that is not the kind of team that Ten Hag would want ideally, right?
Yeah.
This is not the kind of team that Ten Hag would want ideally. So right now it's probably just right now. This is not even the style of play that we all know Ten Hag. This is not what Ten Hag is
Yeah.
associated with.
I mean,
He
yesterday
wants
he said his team. He said the team is. He said he was saying something about how his team is good, but he just said, "But we're not that good." He was like, he doesn't accept good. That good is never good enough. And then he was like, "But right now we're not that good." And I was like, "Jesus Christ, this guy is taking
because
some."
because Ten Hag as a manager is the kind of manager that wants to imprint his game plan into games. He
Yeah,
wants to go into games and like, I want this is how we are going to play. I mean, this is what we are seeing with Ateta this season. Ateta is going into games and it's like, I want to be the one that is going to possess. I want to be the one that is in terms of possession. I just want to leave you to transitions and see what you can take on the counter attacks. Because I want to be the one to possess the game. And I think this is what Ten Hag is going to want in the long run. But for now, he's just going to have to chop and change to whatever set of 11 players that could give him his best results. So I think that's just the position he is right now.
Okay, on the game, what threats do you think Everton could pose to United?
So Everton has actually been playing well in the last three matches
Yeah, they
because
have the best defense in the league.
yes, I saw that. I mean, that's quite. I wouldn't say good, but that's impressive. Maybe yes. To be honest, let me just say that's good because to be honest, I feel Everton is a very very unstable team. I think they're not exactly what I would say will probably be in it for the long run. I think in the nearest few matches, we're probably going to see them falter again. But they're in good form right now. They're in good form. And Alex Iwobi is actually playing absolutely well. He's
Mhm.
actually playing absolutely well. And then it's a testament to how Lampard has been able to improve him. Because the funny thing about Lampard is I've observed like there is always this player he tries to like, I think at Chelsea it was Mount
Mount,
and
yeah.
now it's Alex Iwobi. So there's always this player that he tries to like, bring about something new to that game. And then uh, Everton could be quite a test. I expect Manchester United to win, but probably test Man U's attacking potentials. And then if Man U is not careful, they could probably want to sneak a win, to be honest, because it's at their own ground. And then I just feel like it's Manchester United game to lose. I think it's going to be a tough one, but I expect Man United to still win.
So your score
That's
prediction.
the match against Man City the weekend before.
Your score prediction.
Okay, so my score prediction is going to be 2-1.
So okay, so now let's move to the big one. Arsenal versus Liverpool. First of all, if Arsenal wins this game, do you believe Arsenal are genuinely title contenders?
I mean, right now we have to start considering them as title contenders because they are up there. They are first in the league after 8 games. I do not believe. I still personally do not believe. One thing. I believe for you to win the league, you have to be there. That's what Pep says. Like you have to be there in the first 8 to 10 games. Being there doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the first or the second.
Those have
But
to be
you have
close
to
to
be
it.
there. You have to be in the mix of the teams. Like if you are going to be far behind, please don't be more than 6 points far behind. Don't be more than 2 games,
Mhm.
2 wins far behind. Just be there. And I think so far Arsenal is there. In fact, they're the first, like they're the first on the table. They're the best team in the league so far. It's quite obvious for everyone to see.
Mhm.
And then last season, Chelsea were the first, like I keep saying, after the first 8 games. And then it played a very important role to them finishing third because
Top four, yeah.
the second half of the season was not quite the best for them in the league. But they've built such a good form and then going into the
Yeah.
second half of the season that they were able to retain the third spots.
Mhm.
So I think with what Arsenal is doing right now we might have to consider them as contenders because we do not have so many people that I could consider as contenders. I think aside from Arsenal and then Man City, I do not see so many. I personally do not see Tottenham as title contenders. I've never seen them from the start.
Yeah.
I think they might just probably fight for a top four at the best, and then Liverpool and Man U. It's probably going to be down to what the two of them decides how they want their season to be. It's going to be left to them entirely. And Arsenal are actually in a good shot so far. I mean, we cannot deny that they've been the best team in the league at this
Okay.
point.
Okay, so before we moved to Arsenal Liverpool, you were saying how you feel like Ateta wants to go into a game and wants to have the highest possession and everything. Do you think they can do that against Liverpool? And what type of game do you think Arsenal should be expect from Liverpool?
I think against Napoli, Klopp decided to change his formation to a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
Yes. I think he decided to tweak one or two things slightly. I think Klopp is coming to realization that maybe we might just have to try something else if what we are used to isn't working. And I expect them to play a 4-2-3-1 against us now also.
Mhm.
And I think it could be tricky. It could be. I think it's probably going to be my aside Brighton and Tottenham, it's going to be like next match. Aside the fact that it's a big game, we all expect it to be like a quite interesting one. I think aside Brighton and Tottenham, it's going to be like another interesting one that we're going to see. And I think Arsenal want to impose that game again because I feel right now going to this match, I personally consider Arsenal to seal themselves as the better team right now. So I think is it as
It's at Emirates. Yeah.
okay, yes. So I think Arsenal want to go into this game. I'm trying to bring it to the game their own game plan, and then Liverpool is going to press high, like we know. Liverpool is going to try to to bring their game to, because Klopp is never the kind of manager to want to say, I'm going to sit deep and then defend and then wait for the counter. No. He wants to play his own game. Do you get? Because Liverpool, as bad as they've been this season, they're still there. I mean, you're not going to mention anything aside from Man City, and then you don't want to mention Liverpool, because all of us somewhere deep down we still feel like Liverpool can still turn this around, right? So
yes. I still feel like they finish second, but then continue anything.
What did you say? You still feel they'll finish second, right?
Yeah.
So like I was saying, like all of us still expect Liverpool to sort of turn it up at some point. So it's going to be like a very, very interesting one. And I still see I personally see Arsenal having the slight edge. I see Arsenal having the slight edge. But in games like this, it could go very wrong for Arsenal if Liverpool gets into the game quick and fast.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so what's your prediction for this?
I don't know. I'll probably say like a 60% Arsenal win and then a draw 40%. I would say it depends on who scores first. I would say that. I think against Man United, I think I said something like, if Man City gets to score first, it could be quite difficult for Man U. But if Man U scores first, then it could be a quite level game. If Liverpool scores first, but one thing is, Liverpool has always been considered first for God knows how long this is.
But then, so are you trying to say, so you don't see this as Arsenal's biggest test so far?
I won't say the biggest test. I think Arsenal's biggest test is probably going to be Man City.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the games
so far.
Yeah.
So far. I mean, they are still playing against Liverpool. Like Liverpool squad is probably the second best or third best in the league. So and they have Klopp as a coach. Klopp is still absolutely good. No matter how much his team is not playing well right now. And no matter how much Klopp could be annoying in his press conferences. But yeah, it's going to actually be a very, very strong test for Arsenal, like you said. So I'm probably going to reconsider. I would just say a draw.
Okay. Speaking of press conference, what Klopp said today about Arsenal being far from Man City and everything. What's your take on that?
I think Klopp was actually very, very sly with what he said, because it was like they're far from Man City, and he put the word geographically because he knows how deceitful the British press can be if they want to be. I think it's obvious already from what he said how so many interpretations are taken from it. But I do not see Klopp is not a gentleman in his press conferences. No. Klopp is I see Klopp as a whiner. His team doesn't play well, and sometimes he doesn't want to give the full appreciation to their position.
Yeah. That's
yes. And I think he and Mateta had the tussle on the touchline last season. Yes. And the touchline last season.
If this was Anfield, I'd be so confident that Liverpool was going to win, but this Emirates. Because I remember that match last season where Arsenal was playing better, and then all of a sudden they fought,
and then the tussle, and then Mane banked the goal, and then it just came downhill for Arsenal from there. So I think that's one thing Arteta will be trying to avoid this season. Like keep cool heads, and then let us play what we want to play. No extra frantics, no extra theatrics at the touchline. Just purely what we want to do, and then get it done. And so, I think that's what Klopp has started from the press conferences, is bringing these mind games into it. He could do that if he wants to. And I think that's what he's trying to do, because judging from what happened last season, I think Klopp is like, yeah, let's see if I could, have one or two sentences to say in the press conferences that will just, everybody's probably going to make a big deal out of it. See what Ateta is going to respond to on the pitch, and then see how it turns out. So, like I said, it's going to be a very, very interesting watch.
Yeah, okay. So you've heard this first. Apart from Arsenal, Liverpool being a big game, the next game you should watch out for is Brighton versus Tottenham. But then, so we've come to the end of our show, and Bola, I must say thank you very much for enlightening us on some things. Any sign off?
Okay, it's absolutely amazing to be here. I really love this one-on-one, sections. Aside from the fact that I have the chance now to be greedy with time and and then say what I want to say more. Aside that, it's quite lovely to be here every time, and it's fun. That it's something that we could get to do as much as we get to do it, and then hopefully someone out there is watching this and is like, yes, I love this. I want to tune into this as much as I can. That's the entire reason why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so thank you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments. And thank you very much for coming. I'll see you Monday for the post view. Thank you.
Ciao.